I don't welcome everybody in this meeting, in this room. The guys up in the fake news, frankly. All right, frankly, you guys up there in the fake news have worn out your welcome.
So 2 takeaways from that. Obviously, the temperature has been taken down and unity has been achieved. We're attacking the media. And 2, they love the First Amendment. Oh, they love free speech. They totally love it. They're big fans of it. But anyway, that's standard right-wing talking point, and Kari Lake leaned very heavy into it. It was the first substantive thing that she said in her speech was that how dare there be media covering the RNC. Bear in mind, other than formally choosing the nominee and locking in the nominee, the point of a convention is for people to see your candidates and the speeches and for the word to get out. Attacking the media that is the ones making that possible seems ridiculous, but that's who she is. She doesn't have it in a lot of ways. Certainly she doesn't have it in terms of policy, but she gets that she's supposed to demonize the media, call them fake news and all of that. What do you think, Sharon?
She looks good and I like her haircut. And I don't mean to demean because, they always go for the looks with women, but she's just, there's something about her that is, there's no range there. There's no range and I can't get past it. She got her speaking part, but what are we really gonna do with Kari Lake in any party at any time? It's just not convincing to me. And I just don't see it with her. And I don't want to keep repeating the same thing about her or others that you may go down the list with, but there's no place for her other than supporting cast, window dressing type of thing. Do you understand what I mean?
The video will continue in just a moment, but first I have a message for you. TYT needs your help. Membership is vital to survival, so please go to tyt.com/team and become a member today.
Look, I think that she had too big of an appetite. I think
that part.
Look, I'm a former broadcaster who is willing to ignore the fact that apparently I used to be a Democrat, I used to party with drag queens or whatever. Okay, forget all that stuff. I want power. Run for Congress. Like that already is jumping the line quite a bit, but that's the sort of thing that worked for a Lauren Boebert, it worked for a Marjorie Greene. They've already shown that you can just be photogenic, say some crazy. You don't need to have any governing experience or anything, no mastery of policy. You don't even necessarily need to be a good communicator, and you can get in at that level. But she told her state, no, day one, I'm in charge of this whole thing. That's crazy, and they rejected her. And now she's saying I should be one of the 2 most powerful politicians in this state on the federal level. And that seems kind of crazy, and they don't seem to be buying it. Depending on how November goes, she could prove us wrong and she could totally win. Ruben Gallego's only up by a couple of points, but she just does seem to it's a too big for your britches type thing. Like she's not that good. She's not that compelling to be able to skip so many of the intermediary steps.
Let her be an ambassador, okay?
Yeah, that
when this Senate thing, when this other thing doesn't work out, he'll give her something, but it needs to be something that, she's not even gonna follow the diabolical plan, okay? So it needs to be something that, again, is just more pomp and circumstance. It's more of a window dressing kind of thing. Ambassador, you pick the country.
I think that would totally work. And he would just choose a country that he wants them to receive her as ambassador as the insult it's intended to be. So, but anyway, look, I want to touch on 2 final points. So one, in terms of unity and the tone, we keep hearing the word, and that is as deep as it goes, the calls for unity. So Governor Jim Justice says that the country would become totally unhinged if Donald Trump is not elected in November. I'm gonna say that I partly agree with that. They did become very unhinged when he wasn't elected in 2020, so it's entirely possible that could happen again. I don't think that's what he meant, but I think it's true. Bernie Moreno, US Senate candidate in Ohio. Let's see, Senator Rick Scott, Trump himself, all accused Democrats of destroying the country. Ted Cruz, by the way, just went off on a sort of murder, torture porn thing. Where he talked about Americans dying, murdered, assaulted, raped by illegal immigrants that the Democrats have released. Teenage girls and boys wearing colored wristbands are being sold into a life of sex slavery. And he went on and on and on about it. So again, the toning down the rhetoric, forget about it. It's not happening. Unity, as I said on the show yesterday, literally only means stop with whatever it is that you think and whatever it is that you want and get on board with us, or else potentially. There has not been a single concession. There has not been a hypothetical concession. There's not to say, you know what, here's what we've been pushing for. Some people think it's too radical, and in the name of unity, we're gonna dial it back. There has not been literally one example of that on anything, not a value, not a statement, certainly not a policy. And I don't know how much you can continue to sell the concept of unifying when it clearly means bow down to us in our agenda. Any final thoughts about night 2?
Nikki Haley is just still on my mind. She said a lot of the right things, but what I'm struck by is I still see a woman whose father taught in South Carolina. He was at an HBCU where he clearly wanted to be. He was a talented educator. And here she is, this candidate and frankly politician now who really stands for nothing. 1 minute, she doesn't know about the roots of slavery. And the next, she's saying things like, Black lives are valuable. By the way, did they boo her at that point? She quickly said Black law
I didn't hear
enforcement's
that part,
valuable.
but yeah.
But it's just so condescending. And it's more proof that she doesn't give a hoot. She really doesn't give a hoot about what I think of her. People who look like me think of her. Everyday Americans think. She just thinks that we can hold our nose and we're just going to forget about it or whatever and go along with the con. And it just really, I mean, I couldn't show you my text that I was texting to a Republican friend of mine last night. It was improper of me, but I couldn't help it during her speech.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's just like you said that he's not fit to be commander in chief. If you believe that, then you can't endorse him. You said he's not fit. You didn't say he's not preferable. You said he's not fit. Like, is he or is he not? And if you didn't believe that, why did you say that? That's crazy to say that. So look, and by the way, you can try to take your party back from the brink. You can try to take down the figurehead, fail, and then that's it. You could hypothetically do that. Chris Christie is not here. Chris Christie tried to stop Donald Trump. He took swings at him, utterly failed, embarrassingly so. And that's it now. Maybe he'll go on CNN or something. Like that should also be a possibility. The issue there's many issues with our politicians, but their unwillingness to ever just go back to having a regular life. The fear that they have to no longer be like in a bear hug with the locus of power. Look, it's not just that it's bad for the country. I would argue that it's bad for them. It makes her inauthentic, and people don't like inauthentic politicians, and so many of them thoroughly are, and they demonstrate it in moments like this. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.